Well, it's 27 minutes to 12 and my guest's in the studio. So let me tell you, my guest is director and producer of a movie, Meet the Buddha, that's being premiered in Perth tomorrow night. And she began her career as an actress before discovering Buddhism in 1990. After meeting Lama Ole and Hannah Nidal, I think that's how I pronounce it, she spent many years travelling and working closely with them in the Buddhist communities around the world. In 2009, inspired by these experiences, she directed her debut feature documentary, Hannah, Buddhism Untold Journey. The film won the Audience Award at the APA International Film Festival, Vancouver International Film Festival, and was featured on Netflix in the US and in Canada. Her second feature, Meeting the Buddha, was developed with an international team in close collaboration with the Venerable Tibetan Lamas. Let me introduce you to the studio. Welcome, Marta György-Kessler.
Hello, it's really lovely to be here.
It's very good to have you here. I'm so excited. So you flew in from Munich yesterday.
I did, and I arrived as well.
So you live in Munich?
I live partly in Germany and also in Hungary, Budapest.
Oh,
so.
I can't believe it. That's where I'm going. I'm going from Budapest to Munich for my river cruise.
What a connection.
It's only just been confirmed today. So, that's amazing, yeah. So tell us, what made you get into film in the beginning?
Well, this beginning is sometimes always a process, isn't it?
Yes.
So first of all, I had my first film, you mentioned, Hannah, Buddhism Untold Journey.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a little bit another aspect of the same story, or not the same. Hannah Nudal, she was the wife of Lama Ole. And when I was traveling with this film around the world, it was a lot of questions. People came from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Many asked about the 16 Karmapa. It's also who was their teacher, and asked about her wife, her husband.
That's fine.
Ole Nudal. Yeah, I'm so nervous.
It's fine. We know English is not your first language.
No. And my brain is like, try to connect. Yeah, so many people asked about her husband, Ole Nudal, because she was the main protagonist in the film, and about 16 Karmapa. So accumulating all those requests and interests, this is how it came, that actually with my team we just said, okay, maybe it's time to make a film, the other part of the Hannah film, like about the 16 Karmapa and Ole Nudal, and this is how we developed the story, which became bigger and bigger.
Wow, yes, well, it's fascinating. And tell me, so there's more than one, because I only know of the Dalai Lama in Buddhism. So what's the difference between the Dalai Lama and this Lama now? What's his?
Karmapa.
Karmapa. Yeah, that's right. Oh, my God. So is there more than one? Well, there obviously are. There's a Dalai Lama. So what's the difference? It's a different form of Buddhism?
It's a different person.
Yeah, different. I know it's a different person.
Yeah,
I didn't realize there was more than one.
Yeah, if you talk about persons. So we are talking about Tibetan Buddhism.
Yes.
And in Tibetan Buddhism, after the teaching were taken to Tibet from India, where Buddha was born and passed away, and Buddha passed further his teachings and his transmissions, which was kept in India for hundreds of years. In Tibet, certain interests appeared, and first in the 8th century, Guru Rinpoche brought the teachings to Tibet.
Yeah.
Guru Rinpoche is also quite well known among some.
Yes, Rinpoche is very well known. Yeah.
And later on, Lama called Marpa brought a translation and transmission to Tibet. So I'm talking now about a transmission which started, so Buddhist teaching started to spread and practice in Tibet in the beginning of the 10th century, 11th century. And this is how it happened that the first incarnated Lama started the Kagyu lineage. This is a Karmapa. So Karmapa was the first conscious incarnated Lama in Tibet. And Dalai Lama was actually coming later and also part of establishing the Gelugpa lineage. So in Tibetan Buddhism, we are talking about 4 main schools.
Okay.
The Nyingmapa is the oldest one, the Kagyu school, which is we are also talking in the film. This is where Karmapa is the head of the lineage. And we have the Sakyapas and the Gelugpas. And Dalai Lama belongs to the Gelugpa transmission lineage.
So is it all Tibetan or is
it's all Tibetan Buddhism?
Yeah.
And because in Buddhism, transmission is very important. So it's not only it's not a hierarchy or some system, but it's all refers to certain transmission, where the teacher transmitting the experience and the teaching to the students. And this is how appeared these major schools and also minor schools. So it's not a system was like administrated or something. It naturally appeared a certain kind of 4 transmission lineage.
Okay,
and
so
one of them is Kamakaju, where is Kamapa, and the Gelugpa, which started later. This is where the Dalai Lama is part of. Dalai Lama became also very famous and well known. Also the unfortunate political situation, the Chinese invasion, and because he is also the head of the government, the Tibetan exile government, a political figure. This is how also he became very famous. But if you talk about the spiritual head of a lineage, like Karmapa is a spiritual head. And actually the 16th Karmapa and the 14th Dalai Lama, they knew each other well, and they also met in Tibet, and they continued to have their contacts. And these lamas, they know each other. I mean, unfortunately, because, as I said, because of the invasion, most of these high realized lamas who were in different parts of Tibet practicing and holding the lineage, they all escaped in 59.
So when you say transmission, is that like a translation? So, for example, in Christianity, the Bible, and there's different forms of Christians, there's Protestants, Catholics, Anglicans, all of that. Is that sort of where they have a slightly different interpretation of what the Buddha was preaching? Or he didn't actually, did he? Because the Buddha didn't write anything, did he?
Very good question. So, yes, it's actually translation. It's a very big part of it. Why? So what happened after Buddha passed away, as you said, Buddha was not just cruising around and spreading, let's be everybody Buddhist, but he was sharing an experience for 45 years. And he just giving direct advices, transmissions and method to his students. And because his methods and his insight was so clear and powerful and usable, let's put it in this way, many of his students used it and realized also this goal, and they were able to, let's say, write it down, put it together, some of his teachings, because not every of Buddha's teachings is transmittable in a written form. And now we are talking the interesting part, what we have when we talk about transmission lineage, it's an oral transmission lineage, where it's required that there is a teacher who realized and understood the nature of his mind, which is a goal in Buddhism, or called awakening or enlightenment. And only a realized teacher can give a teaching which he got from his teacher. So this is where we make sure, if we talk about Buddha's teachings and different lineages, that is authentic. It's very important because, of course, some Buddhist teachings are more relying on the scripts, which is good, and some more on the experience. And in our case, in the Karma-Kagyu lineage, the oral transmission lineage is actually essential to have a teacher who is also having the realization. Meaning from Buddha's time, there is a teacher-student relationship, like a kind of connection, which makes sure that, first of all, that these teachings, understanding, they stay alive, and the teacher can transmit it to the student, and the student has to practice and understand it and be able to pass it on all over the hundreds of years.
And so how do you translate that to the movie then? Is this all in the movie?
Well, part of it, isn't it? I mean, clearly it's a glimpse in it, and so the essence of it, I would say, if we see something like examples or inspirational life stories, and in the film we have a little bit a glimpse of the life of the 16th Karmapa, who was also called a living Buddha. From Tibet, he was born in Tibet, and how he lived, how he learned. And then we have the life story of Ulu Nydal, who was born in Denmark, and this is how in the film they come together as a the student meets the teacher, and then how Karmapa asked Ulu and Hannah to share this Buddhism in the West. But I just would like to mention what you said before. Translation is very important because in Buddhism, if we translate, whenever the teachings were translated from Sanskrit to Tibetan, it needed to be understood as well. It's not only the language. So these lamas who translated, they had to meditate and understand the words.
Yeah.
And this is also now important when the teachings are translated in our languages as well. Part of it to practice it in order to be able to understand.
Wow, my mind's going 1,000 miles an hour. There are lots of questions, and then that goes and another question comes in. So where did the name meeting the Buddha? So we're talking about a Buddha who's actually living now, who's actually, so he's not a reincarnation, or he is a reincarnation?
Both and.
He's both.
So that's why we have the title like this, because meeting a realized master is like meeting a Buddha himself.
Yeah.
So Buddha's teachings and transmissions are absolutely timeless and independent of culture and background. So meeting a realized master is meeting the Buddha, or meeting the goal, which is a Buddha like a Buddha nature is in oneself. And in the Vajrayana or the Diamond Way we are practicing, if we have a teacher, a Lama, he is able to show through his example our own enlightened qualities, like a mirror. And that's why it's so important to meet a master.
Wow. So you've obviously met him because you've filmed this. How did you go about getting permission to do a lot of this, or was there no permission? You just...
I met Lama Ulanidal. I couldn't meet the 16th Karmapa. The 16th Karmapa passed away in 81.
Yeah.
I met his incarnation, the 17th Karmapa.
Uh-huh.
And in this film, we have also other great, we say high Rinpoches, realized masters, Tibetan masters, who were able to help and advise about the person of 16 Karmapa, like Lama Jigme Rinpoche, who was his nephew and his attendant. He's also his representative in Europe, main representative in Europe in France, and he's also the general secretary of the present Karmapa. So he was, being his nephew also, he advised a lot in the film about the 16 Karmapa. Lama Ulanidai I met. And how was the meeting? Of course, he's my teacher, also with his wife Hannah, I made a film about. And, these meetings are like always, it's a kind of a Kickstarter, isn't it? It's teasing something in oneself. And as we say, that one gets inspired to practice this way because the teacher is such an example, even we don't know about it. That's why inspiration is so important, not only the words, but that the teacher also behaves the way what he or she is talking about.
So what does it feel like when you're in the company of these people?
This is a good question, because I think everybody would, one hand, describe it differently. On the other hand, there is something. And there is a word, because we don't know any other translation, but we call it as blessing, which is a little bit like Christian, or I don't know other word, but it means that actually this experience, a teacher's presence, because he understands the true nature of his mind, his presence gives us this connection where we can connect to our enlightened qualities, which is expressed through love, joy, fearlessness, and other qualities, compassion. So Buddha explained these are the true nature of our mind. So meeting an example, a powerful realized person, it means that the mind can relax, it feels good in oneself, one opens up, it's just happy, forgets about the worries and hopes and fears, and suddenly it's just sometimes a little bit in here and now. And this is very inspiring, clearly. That's why it's good to have a teacher who knows the nature of his mind, and that's why we can connect through his realization. We can also work on our mind state.
Well, so how does the film progress? Where, give us a synopsis of what the film's about. It's being premiered tomorrow.
So the film is more about, we go with the life story, like stories of people clearly, I think generally when we look at some true life stories or stories, it's always either inspiring or made us think or made us ask questions, and this is important. So this is a story we go about the life story, a little bit of life story of 16th Karmapa back in Tibet. He was born in 1924. We follow a bit of his life story, and we get a glimpse of how the life was of a master like this back in Tibet in hidden place. And we have also the life story of Ole Nydal, who was born in the beginning of 40s in Denmark. It was like the German occupation and how his parents were. So we have a little bit of parallel story of East and West as well. A little bit of glimpse of the history of the world. And then they meet when after Karmapa escaped, and then it goes on from there. And we have other protagonists, of course, other Tibetan lamas, who they were all interconnecting, and the challenges of bringing these teachings to the West.
And so how has it been received in other parts of the world?
We just started. The film was finished in May, June this year. And we had the premiere in the US, and it was in a film festival, and then in Los Angeles. And it was nice. We won some awards.
We've won lots of awards.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. So, you apply for these festivals and you don't know what to expect, luckily, or sometimes you expect but it was really nice to get this nice feedback from the industry. It's amazing. So from the jury of several film festivals, it was really amazing. And also from the audience we had in the US, it was really nice. And we had also already screenings, just my head, we had in Colombia, it was nice, full house. Mexico, we had full house, sold out screenings around Mexico cities and different cities. And also in Denmark, in Europe, we started. And Australia is actually quite early. So now, in February. Good.
Yes.
Yeah. So Perth is
interesting. So it was, so the Australian premiere is in Perth tomorrow night. Just tell us whereabouts is that?
It will be...
I did have... it's here somewhere. We'll find it. Don't worry.
You can find it. Unfortunately, the premiere is already sold out.
That's great.
Perth.
Because when I first saw it, it was saying, I know, it needed so many more tickets for it to go ahead, because it's often challenging to get an independent movie at one of... it's at the events. I think it's events in Inaloo. Yeah,
it's quite a challenge. We do in Australia, which is, I think it's a wonderful distribution way of screening on demand with Fan Force Films, which is really nice. We have they are distributing the film in Australia. And we also didn't know you have a certain amount of tickets you need to sell, but
but they all went, because when I first went on the website, they needed 11 more tickets sold. But here it is, the screening date's the 26th February, Event Cinemas in Inaloo, but it's sold out.
That's great. Also Melbourne, which I'm really happy about.
And for everyone who's listening, who's actually going to it, you'll be there as well. You're doing a Q&A.
Yeah, I will do Q&A tomorrow after the screening.
After the screening,
I will do around, and we will do also in the Buddhist Center a Q&A on Sunday at 11 a.m.
Okay.
We have a Buddhist center here in Perth where one can just learn how to meditate. And if one is interested in Buddhism generally, it's a possibility to come.
Yeah.
So the address is, you can find Diamond Way Buddhism.
43, what was it? Prout Way, Bibra Lake. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. I think we're going to go to a bit of music, and then we'll come back and have a bit more of a chat. So, okay. So the time is 23 minutes to 12. Oh, no, it's not. It's 3 minutes to 12. Where did I get the 20 from? I don't know. A guest in the studio, I have Marta, György-Kessler, and Victor Burley, who's one of do I call it an entourage? Anyway, Victor's an Aussie Buddhist, and so you flew in from Sydney. So Marta came in from Munich yesterday, and Victor, you came in from Sydney. So I was just asked you before when we were off air, what brought you to Buddhism?
Yes, well, a long time ago, when I was young adolescent, I became very interested in beauty, just the whole idea of it, and I really wanted to understand what it was, and that my search for that really triggered me looking into Eastern religions. And then I ran into Buddhism when I was about 20, and Tibetan Buddhism in particular, and I was immediately taken away by it. It wasn't just an intellectual search; it became quite I felt, that they know things which I really want to know. I really want to understand it.
Yeah. So knowing is knowing. So how did you get involved with the film? So you're an executive producer of the film Meeting the Buddha that's being premiered tomorrow. Sorry, everybody, booked out, but you can go to Sydney.
Yes, well, I got involved because Marta made a film on our form of Buddhism based about Lama Oli's wife, Hannah, before, and I was heavily involved right from the start there. And so I got involved automatically in the second movie, this movie, Meeting the Buddha, and I'm very happy to have done that, and and now it's out. I think I'm very, very pleased to be involved, to be honest.
And you'll be there at the Q&A tomorrow as well, or is it just Marta?
Yes, I'll be there. I'm not sure whether I'll be up on stage, but you can always fill questions down to me.
Yeah, well, I'm sure people will. I don't know if you get on stage. Do you get up?
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure what
it's usually
the format is.
On the floor. Yeah, anyway. Usually on the floor.
More casual the better, to be honest.
But well, I'm really impressed. I'm very happy that it's fully booked out. And so tell us a bit more about the movie. What really makes you feel? What's the best part of the movie that really makes your heart sing?
It's always really difficult to answer.
Just had to get a bit
when
closer.
it's asked what's the best or what's the worst, because there's so many.
Yeah. But is there a part that makes your heart sing?
I think the whole story makes my heart sing because it's living examples are their way of dealing with challenges. I think this is really something what inspires, like to see the courage what these people went through. If it was the Tibetan lamas who had to leave their hundreds of years of transmission and everything what they worked and kept together, or if it was the life of Olu and Hannah Nudal, who really gave up fully for this mission, let's say, or for this thing what Kamapa asked them to do, because they were so convinced to do that. And it sounds so very nice, but to live it in everyday life, and only that, I think it's quite a challenge, and I think it's very inspiring for me. And it helped me also to deal with difficulties, definitely.
Well, I guess, when you...
You know, when you think about you have a problem, and then you think how the Tibetans are leaving their countries in snow in high mountains, and no food, no sleep for weeks. And so I think it's something, one understands something there.
So it says that the film captures the remarkable presence of this living Buddha, tracing his early years in Tibet, his preservation of the lineage in exile in India, and his vision to spread Buddhism to the modern world. So is Buddhism in most countries now?
Actually, I think we find almost every country some kind of Buddhism. It's not only the Buddhism we are practicing, but Buddhist teachings are spread very much also in the Western world.
Yeah. And what about places like China?
China is also, it's a good question, because apparently China has now a high revival connecting to Buddhism, I heard. Also Tibetan Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism. So there are people who are practicing, and there is some... it's interesting.
So what would be the difference between... I'm still fascinated with the difference between the different Buddhisms. So it's Buddhism, but there's different... I don't want to say dialect. What is it? How would you call it? Different forms or different schools? Okay, Victor.
Yeah, maybe I'll have a shot at that.
Good.
Firstly, on China, because China historically was a huge Buddhist country.
Yeah.
It went underground with the current communist government, but it's surfacing, and I think it's resurfacing in different ways. Their form of Buddhism is called Mahayana Buddhism. There are basically, we see there being three basic different forms of Buddhism. And Mahayana, the key thing with Mahayana Buddhism, well, I'll start with the simplest, from our perspective, the simplest, Theravadan Buddhism. This they believe, of course, all are from the teachings of Buddha, and they're from different stages of the teachings, turning of the wheel, we call it. And so the three divisions are Theravadan, Mahayana, and then us, Vajrayana.
Just, excuse me, a bit slower. Theravadam.
Yes. Theravada. It's
Theravada.
basically
So it's like
it's the Buddhism you find in Thailand and Burma, they have a different approach to becoming enlightened. We all have the same goal. We all take on the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha, but we have different approaches. And their approach is the more famous approach of being monks and nuns and avoiding life and meditating and being very quiet. They have a very quiet life in theory. Maybe in actual fact they don't.
Sounds a bit like the Carmelite nuns. A bit like that.
Then with Mahayana, their key thing is that they take a thing called the Bodhisattva vow, which is the desire to the desire to become enlightened for the benefit of all beings. Now, the important thing here is that the practices don't really work without that motivation, that overlying motivation, and that's if you like, primarily in China and Japan and elsewhere in Vietnam and elsewhere in Asia. And then we have Vajrayana Buddhism, which is an offshoot of all those two. we have to encompass all three. And in Vajrayana, Diamond Way is a direct English translation of the word Vajrayana. We not only have the Mahayana Buddhist Bodhisattva vow, we also take on a form of a guru. We have gurus. We have teachers who are gurus, if you like, and so they take on a much bigger meaning for us.
Wow. Well, it's fascinating, absolutely. But thank you so much, because that was the first time I've heard that explained to me. Because I know so many people have a different form of Buddhism, and so then I'm just, things are going on in my head about different people I know who practice different forms of Buddhism, but I've never really had it explained to me why this is so different from another one. But what I was getting from you is that one form might have a little bit more ego in it, or is that...
Well, we might be described as the ones with the biggest egos, to be honest. Certainly from the outside world's perspective.
Well, in that case, you don't, do you? If you fess up to it.
No, I mean, particularly Diamond Way Tibetan Buddhism, our Lama Oli and his wife Hannah really encourage us to be part of normal life, and use our normal life as our practice. And this is a skill you can do if you have the guru in your mind, if you like. Otherwise, normal life is normal life. You're not going anywhere. Yeah. But if you have this motivation and the idea of the guru in your mind, you can actually use your daily life as the practice.
So, Marta, I want to ask you a question. So when you finished, this is sold out in Perth. So if people want to see it again, is it going to go to Netflix like the other ones went to Netflix, the other movie?
I hope so.
You hope so?
I really hope so. It's not only up to me. I mean, as you already mentioned, bringing independent films out is not so easy. The whole industry is very competitive. There are a lot of films produced. So actually a lot of passionate filmmakers, especially documentaries. So I'm actually quite pleased where we are now. And clearly, first we have some rounds in the cinemas all around the globe. We have also screenings coming up in other countries. And it is a cinematic film. And next step will be, of course, the streaming on a different platform. So I hope so it will come. Yeah,
so it will be streaming. It will be streaming, or you hope it will be streaming?
I'm sure it will come in Apple TV or Amazon or let's say maybe Netflix, but it's the next step to reach.
Yeah. So meeting the Buddha, it's booked out in Perth. Is it booked out in Sydney yet?
Not just yet, but very soon, I think. But
Melbourne is booked out.
Melbourne's booked out as well. And you're not going to Adelaide?
Adelaide, not yet. We have at the moment coming up screenings in Canberra. We have screening in Sydney and
Newcastle and Byron Bay.
And
wow.
Albury.
Oh, and Albury.
Albury, as in Albury-Wodonga.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, that's fantastic. So
and Gold Coast, sorry, I forgot.
And the Gold Coast.
We have also 1st of April, Gold Coast.
Okay, so just a little bit further north from Byron.
Bay,
yeah.
Yes.
Wow, well, it sounds fantastic. I was travelling around in a camper van last year, all that area, and I love all of the northern rivers is just beautiful, New South Wales, and that coastline. Yeah, but I still love Perth. Well, Marta, it's been fantastic having you on. Thank you so much for coming in, and Victor for giving your explanation of the different forms of Tibetan Buddhism. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, thank you so much.